Draven, or you're not Draven. Like, you're a bad Draven. Because you have to invest so many games on Draven that it's just not worth it for me.
All right, well, congratulations once again. You guys at home at the top of the show, we asked you to get us on to get on Twitter and tell us which position and pro do you feel is having the biggest impact in the European LCS this split and why. And here are just a few of the fantastic answers you sent in. The first one is from @blueslight37, jungler in EU. They have been integral to nearly every big play in this split, and amazing has led the charge. But make a case for Svenskeren right now as well.
Well, I completely agree. I actually think jungle is the most important role in this meta. We see it in every single game. Last game is a perfect example. Both junglers ganked, counter-ganked. Pretty much the entire early game is dictated by the junglers, if they can predict where each other are or maybe snowball a lane. And we see it over and over again, so I agree with this. And of course, amazing. It's been fantastic.
Second one is from @MobiusLol. Support and their new gold flow getting more items have the biggest impact, as you saw yesterday with Edward's rampage on his 400 AP Annie. I don't need to remind you of that.
Yeah, that's true. But it wasn't actually a game with us. It was with someone else. But still, it was pretty scary. So yeah, supports, like, they have more gold to play with, and that's why you see like more playmaking supports like Annie, Leona, and Trash. So yeah, it's really strong. Like, they can do a lot more.
You feel useless.
Yeah, but.
Oh, the third one is from @BastioliNoobs. I think the mid laners still have a huge impact on the game, especially Alex, Ish, Froggen, and Overpow.
We see it again time and time when they play assassins, win the lane, then they roam to the other lanes, pick up some kills, or when they play Karthus, for instance, just farm away, have the ultimate to provide help in the other lanes. And yeah, mid lane will always be important. But for me, just a little bit outshined by the jungle at the moment.
All right. Well, as always, keep the conversation going by tweeting to us @LOL Esports. And remember to use that hashtag LCS. Thank you very much, Candy Panda. Congratulations. Good results here in the Super Week. And now we're going to head back over to the duo of Joe and Quickshot for our next game.
Thank you very much, Shox. It is time for Millennium versus the Super Hot Crew. The last time that these two teams met, Millennium had a whole load of fun. They destroyed Super Hot Crew, Creaton went unkilled and ended 14-0-7. And Kurt played a LeBlanc ended with a scoreline of 8-1-8. Millennium have not had that many dominant performances and are still currently 1 win and 2 losses in Super Week. Something has to change.
Yeah, Millennium have beaten Ro8, but then they lost to SK Gaming and Fnatic. And truthfully, the Millennium members all have fantastic moments, but it really just feels like as a team, there's no inherent synergy. You see small plays with a few members being fantastic, but the team has continually struggled all split long. They've had very good wins, they've had terrible losses, but they've been unable to find consistency in winning or even in losing. And you just have to feel that they're still looking to find their groove. They're still looking to find what they need to do as a 5-man unit. It does sound a little negative. The games this week have been stronger. Millennium have had good showings against SK. They started very well against Fnatic. But unfortunately, I truly feel like as a team, they need to have 5 members playing the same tune as opposed to all hitting different notes, because right now, they're not on the same page.
On the other side of the rift, the ex-aggressive Super Hot Crew are currently flailing 0-2, having lost games to both Alliance and Fnatic. Super Hot Crew have simply just not shown up really for their first 2 games of the week, playing extremely passively and just not looking like the team that won so many games leading up to the Super Week.
Yeah, in all of the games leading up to this week, the Super Hot Crew have been extremely aggressive, securing a plethora of kills, towers, even inhibitors. They're very aggressive very early, but they've not been able to do that during Super Week. Against Alliance, they played incredibly passive. They didn't make any plays across the map. And then yesterday against Fnatic, their new picks didn't work out for them either. Moops and Mima pulled out Karthus and Jax respectively and had hoped to scale in the mid to late game, but unfortunately they just gave up too many kills too early on to LeBlanc, and Fnatic were able to completely control the map. I feel like as a team, Super Hot Crew has to go back to some more super aggressive picks.
Well, coming into this match, these teams are critical of each other's weaknesses, and they both think their squad has what it takes to come away with a win today.
I think one of the reasons why Millennium is losing a bit is because they're trying too hard to come out with new champions instead of just playing their own style.
I think Super Hot Crew is very inconsistent. Overall, like, each of them is very good, but each of them can like do really bad or really well at the same time.
I think Millennium has pretty strong laners, but their team fights and like shot calling are pretty bad.
They have a really strong AD carry. From he's one of the best AD carries in Europe, Mr. Relish. And Moop is good, but I don't think the rest of the lanes are as strong as the other teams. But still, they have a good team play and they're training a lot, and that's why they're succeeding.
Well, we played only Millennium once this season and we lost the game. Even though they are last, they are still strong players. They have some problems to finish their games.
They just have games like, I think, kind of one games where they really struggle, and one game where it just stomps someone. We will just have to see who will have the better day.
Games where they're good and games where they really struggle, said by both sides there. That kind of sums up everything about Super Hot Crew and Millennium right now.
The one thing that I do think was quite good is that Super Hot Crew said, we feel that Millennium's lanes are strong, I agree with, and Millennium's late game team fights are not necessarily strong. That I also agree with. On the other side of the coin, they're saying Super Hot Crew, they're good in lanes and their team fights are okay, but they haven't done that this week. That is a stark contrast to what we've seen leading up to these games.
Well, let's check out the starting lineups with the blue side first for Millennium. There are, of course, Kevin in the top lane, Aranea in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, Creaton the AD carry, and J-Ree the support.
And on the red side, it is the Super Hot Crew. Mima is up in the top lane, Impaler in the jungle, Moops in the mid, Mr. Rolls as the AD carry, and Mixer playing the support role.
So coming into Champions League, what are we expecting here? I'm going to call it right now a Kassadin ban. But for the Super Hot Crew, I mean, they're on red side anyway, but the fact is that they just don't play Kassadin.
They don't.
They have to ban Kassadin.
Super Hot Crew and Millennium are the 2 teams out of the 8 in the European LCS that have banned Kassadin on the blue side more often than any other, because their mid laners just simply don't play, which is quite interesting because Kerp is an assassin player.
Yes.
The one thing that I think is also very important for these teams is the Gragas. Kerp is very good on Gragas. Moops in particular, it's his most played champion, 9 times this split. I wonder if they're going to let it through, because I feel if you're Super Hot Crew, go back to what you're good at, go back to what you're comfortable on.
Really interesting champion selects. I'm not quite sure 100% where to go. A little cheeky laugh. Trev knows his Gragas is going to be banned by Millennium. Lulu taken away as well. Kassadin, we expected that from the Super Hot Crew as well. But from here, what are the Super Hot Crew going to focus on?
I'm wondering about the engages. If you want to try take Thresh off the table, it is a possibility. You still have Elise to worry about. You still have Evelyn to worry about as well. Both Aranea and Impaler have played on those champions before, so we'll see what they're going to prioritize.
Last time they banned out Yasuo, Annie, and Kassadin, so definitely a little bit different this time around. Kale was banned by Millennium, and Renekton taken away from Kevin. Now, I'm not sure about that one, because Kevin's got a whole host of other champions to fall back onto. Ziggs was first picked here, so they want Kerp on that one, a safe mid lane first pick.
Yeah, the question is, what do the Super Hot Crew want to grab in now? Ziggs, like you said, it's farm heavy. No matter what Moops picks, Ziggs is basically going to be able to do okay. The Renekton ban, while yes, it is taking it off the table for Kevin, it does allow Super Hot Crew to lock in something like a Trundle now and have the potential of a lane matchup that's not quite as punishing. You know, generally Renektons are pretty good at beating Trundles for the most part, and we'll see what Super Hot Crew are going to lock in now.
Thresh would be a good choice in this one. We have seen that J-Ree, I said it before in their other games, that he plays a couple of different things that not other supports are really using. Blitzcrank is obviously the big example of that one, but it looks like it will very possibly be this, and a Lucian for Mr. Rals. This kind of makes sense. He played a lot of Lucian this year.
A massive amount. These are actually 2 super comfort picks for both Mr. Rals and Mixer. It's also denying it from Creaton and J-Ree. The last time these teams met, Creaton went 14-0-7 on Lucian. And I think it is Creaton's strongest champion. So smart to deny that from your opponents. On the side of Mixer as well, he's played more games with Thresh. He's also been more successful on it than J-Ree in the past. So it's a strong duel, and it also doesn't reveal anything else. They can fit with a lot of other lanes.
So RNA is basically trolling us at this point. Zilean, though, has been played by Millennium this year, so not going to count that one out just yet. I'm wondering if Aranea wants, for example, to take the likes of Pantheon away from Impaler. Although Impaler himself, you know, at least when it's been open, has snatched that one up. But for me, he's been more impressive on Pantheon.
I think so too, but knowing the way Aranea has been playing recently, I would say Lee Sin or the Evelyn would be the more realistic possibilities. Because of the fact that Elise is banned so often and not available, this week in particular, we've seen her falling by the wayside. Other champions have risen into that jungle slot. And like you've talked about, J-Ree has played Zilean before. We actually seen Kazmich running it for the older line support in Battle of the Atlantic. It is a support that offers a lot of poke. It also, if used effectively, can give you early levels, early level 2, early level 6. And if you can use that very quick power spike effectively, you can get control of all of the lanes, because that is a global buff for the entire team of Millennium.
Now let's have a look for the Super Hot Crew there. Duo lane is already locked in with Thresh and Lucian selected as their first two choices. They know they're up against a Ziggs in the mid lane. Orianna fits Moop's playstyle. He's played Orianna a couple of times this year already as well.
It's also been banned out against him. You know, it caught us by surprise. It's not really something that Moops goes to as a first choice. I mean, he's played Gragas 9 times already, so that's where I would have guessed. At this point in time, he's leaving the option available for him. Mima, however, it's looking like we're going to see another Jax. So this is going to be Mima's first Jax, if memory serves correctly, and it did very well in the previous game. If you give Jax enough time and you get him into a position where he has his items, he can destroy absolutely everybody.
What are they going to go with on the AD carry front here? Fact is, you've got Jax, you've got Kha'Zix who can both dive onto you. And what are they going to go with for Kevin in that top lane? We've seen Malphite works wonders against Jax in previous games, but is that something that Kevin wants to bring to the table?
You're actually right. Fnatic beat them with that Malphite Travel. So this is the second time he's on Jax. Second time he's on Jax. I don't like Kevin on a Malphite. I prefer him on different bruisers. If he wants to go for something like an Olaf, like a Trundle, I think it's going to be a little bit better than the likes of that Malphite. But like you said, we have seen it in the past. It can work for them. As it stands, Super Hot Crew have got a combination of champions where they want to find picks. They're going to put that Kha'Zix in the jungle for Impaler, I'm expecting. And if they can get Impaler snowballed and rolling very early on, they have the tools available to keep winning, you know, aggressive team fights. But the problem is, they're going up against a Zilean who's going to revive whoever Kha'Zix and Jax jumps on top of.
Yeah, and speed up. Let's not forget that, because that speed boost from Zilean is pretty ridiculously fast. And that onto an Olaf with his ultimate running, you're not going to stop him. He's getting onto the target that he wants at the end of the day. I'm expecting this Orianna, to be honest, to be picked up there. Ball on top of Jax or Kha'Zix as they jump in. Shockwave the rest of the team.
Yeah, so let's start with the Millennium comp as they've just locked in Orianna. Millennium can do a lot of things fairly well. They've got good poke, they've got good siege potential. As long as Millennium are comfortable, they've got, you know, some form of engage with the speed boost on Evelynn or Olaf to run in. But there's not a lot of hard CC. You know, there's not a lot of things that can hold somebody in place, lock them down and kill them. So Millennium are going to be looking for open spaces where they can run at a team. Not so sure about tower diving, we'll see how that goes. For Super Hot Crew, however, they're looking for skirmishes where they can blow somebody up. Get Jax and Kha'Zix to jump on somebody, catch them with a shockwave, get the reset, and then force Millennium backwards. I also prefer the utility that they've got. Stun from Jax, slow from Orianna, hooks from Thresh as well.
And the fact is, we saw in that last game that you can kill a Jax in lane, but if he gets even close to being even with you and then gets his items, he's going to cause you a few problems. We'll see how that one all goes, though. It's time to find out what you guys think about this matchup. The voting on LOLesports.com has been going all week long, and according to you guys, the Super Hot Crew by 61%.
I don't know. I think Millennium have looked better than Super Hot Crew this week. I actually feel like if I were to go cast my vote right now, I would put the tick on Millennium's side based on the games that we've seen. You know, Millennium, they are 1 and 2 coming into this matchup. They lost to SK, they lost to Fnatic, but it was by no means a whitewash. Whereas for the Super Hot Crew, they let their opponents win. They played so passively, very uncharacteristically, and I think Millennium are looking better overall this week so far.
Yeah, I think Super Hot Crew need to go back to that whole in your face, and that's why I'm kind of surprised that they've left that Pantheon go, by the way. I mean, that worked for them, that style of just jump in there, dive in and get things going.
So what they have done, as opposed to using Pantheon for the Grand Skyfall and the Global, they've gone for a slightly shorter range jump, and it's going to be the leap on that Kha'Zix. So the champions they've got now, we're going to see that Jax again. The Orion is a little bit more traditional for moves, and I think Impaler being on an aggressive sort of ganking style jungler like this Kha'Zix, I feel like is a good return to the flavor that this team likes to play. The thing is, can they implement it? That's the real test.
We'll find out. We're in game Millennium versus the Super Hot Crew. Game 3 of our final day of Super Week here in Europe, and what a fantastic Super Week it's been. Even today, that opening game in particular being a real highlight, and we've still got 3 more to go, including this one. Well, definitely don't go anywhere. And the challenger, of course, is even after that, so it's still a full night of action and a full weekend with North America Super Week as well.
Steve bakes cookies. We'll have to see if his gameplay is as good as his cookies are. But for this game right now, Millennium Super Hot Crew, it is going to be a slow start at the very beginning. Millennium, basically the only team that actually likes to make plays happen very early on, sometimes to their detriment. But as it stands, passive start slowing down. They've got nothing to work with. I mean, if they were to go for level 1, they've got some poke. That's it. There's no hook. There's no hard CC to hold people in place.
Well, yeah, totally right on that one. I don't really have much more to say on that topic, so I'm going to switch topics. The ward's coming down early there. We see Mixer just spotting that one out and basically pinging in identical areas across the map, and we can see that pretty much in each position there's a red and a blue ward right next to each other.
At this point in time, we're going to have those standard lanes, and we're going to have another sort of unique duo lane, this time for Millennium. They're going to go for that Caitlyn and Zillion. And as long as Zillion has got some mana to play with, that he can use those bombs sitting on the heads of Mr. Rolls and Mixer, I feel like the poke is going to be in favor of Millennium. But the problem is, there's not a whole lot of kill potential on their side. You know, Mixer on Thresh, he's going to be able to hold somebody in place, and that's going to allow Mr. Rolls to help them secure a kill. The one thing that's also going to work in Super Hot Crew's favor is those bombs are going to push the wave towards their tower. So Super Hot Crew have the option to go for kills or to play defensively, depending on how they use their abilities in this lane.
Well, there we see, look, level 2 on Kerp to level 1 on Moops, 8% extra experience for Millennium in this game. Let's see if that affects the running of things, as RNA here is out of mana, having to go at the blue buff. He's going to try and just juggle this one around. Obviously does have his smite. Blue buff's going to regen him, and we'll see if he gets involved in any of the lanes. Impaler only just getting over to his blue.
Oh, Jerry's in trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble. Can they catch him? One more auto attack, and there is that speed boost that I was mentioning earlier from Zillion. He's got no boots, and you still can't keep anywhere near him.
Yeah, Jerry's flash is down though, so if Mixer gets caught by a death sentence, he is going to go down. He needs to play, Jerry needs to play a little bit safer moving into those next moments of the game. And if we go back to that pre-game video where the Super Hot Crew were talking about Millennium as a team, Super Hot Crew was saying that Millennium tried to force new champions, you know, instead of sticking with sort of what is known to be strong elsewhere. Olaf top. This is the first time that we're seeing it, the split. I'm going to go on a limb and say that. We see, you know, the Zillion support. It's not very popular. It's second time if memory serves. So we're going to see how Millennium make this one work for them.
Yeah, I think the only time that we saw Olaf previously was Colberto substituting for Gambit in the jungle.
And I think week 1, Diamond also played him in the jungle once as well, if memory serves. But yeah, it's a champion that we haven't seen super regularly or super popularly at all.
See how Kevin runs it this time around. Obviously used to be an old favourite in the top lane, did Olaf. Reminiscing somewhat there. Olaf in the top lane against Malphites and what have you. Possibly not the most entertaining top lanes. This one could be changed here though, because Impaler's waiting around. Question is, can you lock down Kevin?
So it's going to be very difficult. Kevin's got his Ghost on as well, so the moment that stun wears off, there's no other CC really from Mima or Impaler to hold him in place. And as far as the matchup goes, Kevin on Olaf is going to be able to shake off that Counter-Strike stun once he gets his Ragnarok, and he's one of the few top laners that can actually trade and duel a Jax. The lower Kevin's going to go, the higher his attack speed's going to get from his W. He's got some lifesteal. He's also got true damage as well. So once Jax gets all those additional defensive statistics from his ultimate, it doesn't matter because that Reckless Swing is just going to slam down and hit Mima pretty hard. So this could be a really interesting duel. Unlike the previous one, which is a little bit more stale between the Jax Aatrox.
You see there, Aranea with that extra experience that he's getting. He should hit level 6 before that of Impaler, who's actually come down towards his bottom lane. Lantern, of course, is available for Mixer as Mima and Kevin again go head-to-head. That perma-stun almost of the Axis coming out there from Kevin as we are going to see the Lantern down. They're going to go in for it, but the hook's missed. They're going for crits, and nonetheless, the damage just returned straight away. Bomb on Impaler.
Yeah, 90 caliber net to get away. Unfortunately for Mixer, not landing the death sentence means no follow-up can land. I like the attempt though. At the very least, Impaler's trying to look for kills on a champion like Kha'Zix where he's going to be outscaled by an Evelynn. I feel the threat that RNA offers, as well as the team fight power of that Agony's Embrace, if Super Hot Crew stay a little bit grouped, is going to be very, very powerful. Impaler is not necessarily the one you want to be starting the team fight for Super Hot Crew. He wants to jump in after somebody's a little bit low, get some executes, and then eventually hop around, but it will take him some time to get there.
Now is Kerp actually level 6 to the level 5 Moops, and he kind of felt that some pressure was going to come out of the jungle. Impala was already starting to come around the side, couldn't quite get in. He's far behind Aranea in terms of experience right now. We see that Aranea is level 5.5, going to be hitting 6, definitely before Impala. The question is, where will Aranea really make his presence felt on the map? Where's the focus going to be, really, for Millennium against the Super Hot Crew as he comes into middle? Moops is going to try and get away, but they're going to chain things together. Shield comes out from Moops. That was so close.
Very well played there by Millennium. Actually, just timing that one, you could actually see Aranea hesitated. He waited to line up the ultimate. Creatine, great 90 caliber net. Going to get away from that hook in the bottom lane. You asked about the where does Aranea go? And truthfully, any lane that's overextended. There's a lot of damage from all of his lanes, and right now, they're going to set their sights on Mima, but there's still no agonies just yet.
Ragnarok popped, and Mima's like, ha, that's just a completely obvious sign that Evelyn is going up to that top lane. Was indeed true. Aranea was on his way to have a bit of a go on towards Mima. Doesn't get it, though.
So there was too many minions for Kevin to really pick that fight as well. They would have melted him down in conjunction with Mima if the fight carried on. The one thing that I think Millennium are a little bit weak at right now is setting up a team fight or setting up a pick unless they catch Super Hot Crew out of position. Aranea is sneaking himself. He does have Smite. Smite War, who's going to get it?
Wow, that was awkward.
That was a little awkward.
A little bit too early. And Impala's like, wow, that was pretty close. Almost lost my red buff, but he gets it nonetheless. Bit of a scare for him. Mima had just come down there as well, but Aranea has already sped himself up with that W, and he's way out of harm's way.
And to just go back to that point about Millennium looking for a pick, because they don't have that stun from Jax or they don't have a death sentence from Mixer, they're going to be quite reliant on Aranea coming in from the side or coming in from behind somebody of Super Hot Crew, getting the kill, and then moving forward onto a tower and objective. The one thing that is quite nice for Millennium is that their team fight before or while their team fight while they spread out will at least mitigate a lot of Super Hot Crew's strengths. When you see a gank in this top lane, Impala's coming in, he has evolved his Q at level 6. They're going on Kevin.
Yeah, they're going to get the stun. There is no Ragnarok there for him. We're going to see the Ghost used, but First Blood comes down, and it's Jax that picks it up. So, you know, he's fallen behind a little bit in CS here as Mima, but he gets that First Blood. Can't allow a Jax to get rolling.
Definitely not. As it stands though, Mima has been struggling a little bit in that top lane. He was falling behind on CS. It's 20 right now. The fact that he's got the First Blood is going to at least make up that goal difference, and Aranea is going to clear this wave out. So what's quite important about that wave being picked up by Aranea, it's going to give him some additional gold and the experience, and very importantly, is not going to let the damage land on that tower, so Kevin can try pull himself back into it. Impala's looking once again for another gank. Doesn't have his ultimate available, so he's not going to be jumping in there stealth like we've seen previously.
Yeah, he walked over the top of a ward as well. Kurt was just trying to keep him there as long as he possibly can. Impala, as you said, level 6 now. Just popping through on that one, this bottom lane. And it's funny because Creatine's so vocal about the fact that if you fall behind as an AD carry, it's so hard to have an impact on the game, and it means that you have to almost force a kill in that bottom lane. You have to then kill to get back into it. But how are you going to set up a kill with a Zillion?
So there's one of these things that, you know, we see in the previous game where Jax had the shields of the wild growth from Lulu and he had the intervention from Kayle. In this game, it's going to be Olaf going up against a Jax. There's no save Jax's life button really for the Super Hot Crew. However, for Millennium, if Kevin gets into a position where he's dueling Mima or he's running amok in the back line, that, you know, that rewind from Zillion is going to give Olaf the extra leash on life. It's going to give him the time that he needs to either kill Mr. Rawls or destroy Impala. And once those damage threats are down, you can focus Jax as a team, which I think is a very smart call.
See how it works for him as later this game goes on. Kevin, at the moment, back into his lane, got himself a chain vest, double Doran's blades, and a Doran shield with boots of speed as well, so he's going to be feeling pretty confident, got good damage while having those tanky stats for this stage of the game as well.
Mima's really not wanting to even challenge. You've seen that minion wave was pushing up. Mima's hanging way back at his tower. He doesn't want to get caught by those undertows. He doesn't want to take more poke than he needs to. Mixer, even though he's like quite overextended without Mr. Rawls, there's no real kill threat on him. He has to take an immense amount of poke before an ace in the hole and, you know, those double time bombs can even run a threat of killing him. Super Hot Crew with a little bit of invade just to get rid of vision.
Really going to jump away. Actually, did get knocked against the wall there with that satchel charge. Aranea, is he going to speed off? Actually, ace in the hole. They're going to try and combo things, and that is a good amount of damage. A bouncing bomb. Ooh, that was really close. I'm not sure it would have quite finished him off, but it would have been super close. Either way, Millennium have the start on the Dragon. Impaler is low, which makes it so much harder for him to come in. There's the Colin being thrown down. Who's going to get this one? It is going to be stolen. Impaler picks up the Dragon. He's got a bomb in his head. A shockwave comes down onto J-Ree. He's put the ultimate on himself, and now Moops is trying to get away. That doesn't work out. Mr. Roll's going to be chased down. Barrier, flash from Curve, and the bouncing bomb bounces far enough, and that is 2 kills for Millennium.
If Millennium want to stick to the tower, they can get this one down. They've got a couple of members hanging around. You have to give props to Impaler there. He was able to smite the Dragon because Aranea's smite was not available. He didn't have it when they started that Dragon off. So Super Hot Crew come out with a small win as far as the gold is concerned, but the double kill onto Curb Ziggs is very, very worrying. You've seen how much damage those bouncing bombs were already doing to the members of Super Hot Crew, and they just can't let him get rolling further. He could even get this tower down because Moops is going to take a while to get here.
Yeah, Moops is pretty much miles away from this one. There's a big wave of minions coming in. You can see Curb just spamming out those bouncing bombs. Actually, that one did hit Moops, which caused him to take turret aggro. Doesn't matter though, Curb pretty much solos that outer turret.
So overall net gain is going to be in favor of Millennium now. They've got that mid tower down, which is going to allow Aranea a little bit more freedom in that the middle lane and the middle of the map with that Evelyn, so he can start roaming around. We're seeing a similar ward strategy here from the Super Hot Crew against this Eve. Defensive pink wards in their jungle, trying to get just information on when Aranea is invading, as opposed to deep pink wards or deep vision, which would give you information on when Aranea is doing his jungle camps, for example, and allow you to rotate around the map that way.
And Curb continuing with the damage. Both mid laners got that Athene's advantage in CS. He's over on one side. This top lane remains interesting for me. Kevin versus Mima. Kevin does have the CS lead there. Got that chain vest in, which will negate a lot of what Mima can throw at him at this stage of things. So he's got himself the cutlass, so he's got a bit of sustain in that top lane, but up until now, they don't expect him to be killing each other without anyone really interfering in that, whether that's a Curb roam into ulti possibly, or the junglers getting involved.
Because of the fact that Kevin has actually maxed his reckless swings and he's got 2 points in that undertow, I actually feel like over a prolonged fight, Kevin may have the kill advantage there. You can chase Jax down with those undertows. He's got 1 leap. Kevin can throw the ghost down, get undertow after undertow, and stick to Mima. And I think that's probably why Mima is playing super defensive. He's 30 CS down in that lane. If you look across the other lanes, Millennium have got a 23 CS lead in the mid lane. They've got an additional assist on their jungler. And Caitlyn has got a small edge in that bottom lane, but again, Mr. Roll's doing what he does best. He's holding even, he's doing the best he can in that lane.
And it's funny because I said earlier on about where's the kill potential really going to come from, and it's just been the pure harassment that you get from the zillion of those bomb after bomb after bomb that's really started things off. Meanwhile, we are going to see Aranea coming into this top lane. Mima's going to have the help of Impaler. They're going to jump on towards Kevin. It's a lot of damage, but Impaler goes low, has to flash, does get the kill. Bomb flies over. Can Aranea get over? There's 2 very, very low targets for him, but he can't get through.
The burst damage was insane. I didn't expect that to work, but Kevin was isolated. Bouncing bomb comes out. Mima's one. Curb gets it. He's looking for Impaler. Not this time.
Not this time, but jumps off the satchel charge and has another go. Now Moops has come to this top lane. There's 2 men just sat there in that side brush. Can they get anything from that one? Gritton did die, by the way, down in the bottom lane. Just saw that.
We didn't actually catch that kill. I think that's probably just landing a hook. You may get a replay of that one, but regardless, in the top lane, I think the play Moops is now in a little bit of trouble. Gets away.
Yeah, actually had to use his flash from that one. They pinned him against the wall as well. I don't think feeling confident enough to tank up the turret, but that's low. They can probably finish off with this wave.
The one thing I want to touch on for that top lane kill onto Kevin is that Aranea waited. He waited until both Impaler and Mima were standing next to each other, that he could get a proper attack on his ultimate. He hit both of those targets. It ended up working in his favor somewhat, but unfortunately, Kevin, even with all of that armor and those ninja tabi, got shredded. So this is the kill, and yes, that's just Creator being straight up hooked. Gonna eat the culling. Oh, great Lantern as well. Even through the Chrono Shift as well. So, gonna revive. Is there another hook? We're about to find out. There's just another play. I think that's just straight up outplay. Mr. Olsen Mixer killed him twice.
J-Ree having to actually flash away from that one as well, so he was lucky to actually survive with his life. Good play from the Super Hot crew. Down bottom, it leaves us tied up in kills. Mixer, is he going to go down? Yes, he is. Creatine gets that kill. Impaler has to dodge the Mega Inferno Bomb. They've lost this turret, though.
Yeah, they definitely have.